Hi, I'm Bob Chappell, aka Mr. Musicarta, and this is the first Bye Bye Blue how-to video. We're learning the broken chord accompaniment pattern, that is just the chords before the melody comes in, starting with bars 1 to 8. This is the keyboards diagram you'll be using for this first section. Please find it in your workbook. It's the one with the C, A minor, F and G chords shown. You see that Mr. Musicarta's copy is coloured in, green for the left hand, orange for the right. On screen now, you see the music we're going to learn. Here's how it looks and sounds. Don't try and play it just yet, just watch and see what happens. I'll call out the chords so you can follow in the music with your eyes. C, A minor, F, G, C, A minor, F, G, C, A minor, F, G, C, A minor, F, G. Before we go any further, let's take a closer look at this broken chord accompaniment pattern. Here's the pattern in C, the pattern for the C chord. The pattern consists of a left-hand bass note, a right-hand chord, but broken up and played bottom, middle, top, middle, bottom, and a left-hand overnote, which comes with the top note of the right-hand chord. A chord and two left-hand notes. And the pattern the same for all the chords in the chord sequence. In A minor, for example, the right-hand chord and two left-hand notes, a bass note and a left-hand overnote. So the right-hand chord and the two left-hand notes are the building blocks of the pattern. Let's get on with learning these methodically, starting with the right-hand chords. Let's start by finding the C chord. Right hand finger 3 on middle C, and 1 and 5 will fall on G and E. Check you've got that. G, C and E with fingers 1, 3 and 5, and hold that thought. Now, between the keyboards in the keyboard diagrams and between the chords in the music, you see little groups of 3 lines. These are called voice movement diagrams, and they make learning strings of chords very much easier. They show you, for example, that from the C chord to the A minor chord, only one note changes. There are 2 straight lines and 1 slanting one. The bottom note moves up, the top 2 stay the same. And there's the A minor chord. Let's go back to the C chord and replay that. Middle finger on middle C, 1 and 5 fall on G and E. The C chord. The bottom note moves up, but the top 2 stay the same. The A minor chord. But the fingering changes on the A minor chord to 1, 2 and 4. And that's important later. So let's replay the C to A minor with the fingering change. There's the C chord. The bottom note moves up, but the fingering changes on the 2 chord notes that stay the same. There's the A minor chord. One more time. C, A minor. Now from the A minor to the F chord, your voice movement diagram again says only one note moves, but this time it's the top note that moves up and the bottom two stay the same. A minor, top note moves up to make an F chord. From the F chord to the G chord, it's the simplest move of all. All the voices, that is, all the fingers, move one key to the right. The chord shape stays exactly the same. Let's run through those four chords again. Here's our C chord. The bottom note moves up, but the fingering on the two notes that stay the same changes to 1, 2, 4. The top note moves up to make the F chord, and everything moves up for the G chord. C, A minor, F, G. C, A minor, F, and G. Run through those four chords over and over. Use the voice movement diagrams to help you memorize them and try and use the right fingering. Before we start learning the left-hand notes, let's just remind ourselves of what our pattern does. For each chord, there's a left-hand bass note, a right-hand chord which is broken up, and a left-hand overnote. Two left-hand notes for each chord, bass note and left-hand overnote. First we're learning the bass notes. That's the notes on this side of the right-hand chord. The bass notes are the notes named in the chord symbols, which you can see above the music manuscript. The chord symbols are C, A minor, F and G, and the notes you're looking for are the C, this C here, an A, an F, and a G. So use any fingers you like and find your C, A, F, and G bass notes. Notice how much they move between the notes. From C, you skip a note down to A, you skip another note down to F, and you step back to G. From C, skip down to A, skip down to F, step back to G. Now let's play those with the right-hand chords. Find your first right-hand chord, finger 3 on middle C, 5 and 1. There it is. And there's your C bass note. A minor, keep using the voice movement diagrams to help you find these chords. Top note goes up to make an F in the right hand and down a skip to F. Bass note. Everything moves up to G. From C, bass note skips down to A, skips down again to F, steps back to G. One more time. Now let's find the left-hand overnotes. But first, review the right-hand chords. Because the left-hand overnote is always an octave above the lowest note of the right-hand chord. Here's your C chord. The bottom note is G. The left-hand overnote is also a G. That bottom note moves up to be the bottom note of an A minor chord, and the left-hand overnote also moves up to an A. The bottom note of the F chord stays the same, and so does the left-hand overnote. And of course everything moves up to the G. So the left-hand overnotes are G for the C chord, going up to A for the A minor chord, staying on A for the F chord, moving up to B for the G chord. a left hand over note G, up a step to A, stay on A for the F chord, up a step to G for the B chord. To learn the pairs of left hand over notes, it's a good idea to spell them out using two hands. So for your C chord here, the bass note is C, and the left hand over note is the note an octave above that note, which is G. There they are. Bass note and left hand over note. For the A minor chord, you skip down to bass note A, the left hand over note goes up to A by a step. Down a skip to F, and this one stays in the same place. Everything moves up a step for the G chord. So here they are. Spelling them out. Spell them out by name. C and G, A and A, F and A, G and B, C and G, A and A, F and A, G and B. Left hand down a skip, right hand up a step. Left hand down a skip, right hand stays. Both up a step. Left hand down a skip, right hand up a step. Left hand down a skip, right hand stays the same place, both up a step. Practice those leaps with the left hand on its own. The left hand's going to play both the bass note and the left hand over note with fingers 5 and 2. F up to A, G up to B, C up to G, A up to A, F up to A, G up to B. And let's see if we can't slot in these right hand chords as well. C chord, A minor chord, fast enough, quite fast enough. Left hand notes, C up to G, A up to A, down to F, up to A, down to G, up to B. You're practically there. We have a chord, take the C chord, and we have our two left hand over notes. Now let's rehearse the actual broken chord pattern on just the C chord, slowly, note by note. You play the left hand bass note on its own, and then you start up the right hand chord a note at a time. The left hand over note comes with the top chord tone, then back down the right hand chord tones. So the sequence of events is left, right, right, together, right, right, left, right, right, together, right, right. Play the C chord like that until the pattern gets some flow. And then rejig your hands for the A minor chord. And here we go, left, right, right, together, right, right. The tricky thing, of course, is changing between the chord positions. So you should play yourself a little practice chord sequence like this. C twice, and change to A minor twice. Back to C. And of course you're trying to get rid of any delay when you change. When you can do two chords at a time, change every bar. fast enough. Now you do exactly the same procedure with the F chord and the G chord until you can alternate those two chords. And then you play all four. C, A minor, F, G, C, A minor, F, G, C. You try and identify the cause of any delays or mistakes and repeat the relevant practice segments. The performance bill that we've just used for the C, A minor, F and G chords is key to learning Bye Bye Blue. You should run through the steps a few more times, for example when you come back for your next learning session. You drill the right hand chords using the voice movement diagrams to keep track of what goes where. You find the bass notes and add those to the right hand chords. You find the left hand over notes an octave above the right hand thumb. You drill the pairs of left hand notes with 2 fingers, 2 hands. Then you practice those leaps with the left hand alone, first without, then with the right hand chords. Break it up. Next, you'll go on to apply this same practice method to the next 2 groups of 4 chords in bars 9 to 12 and 13 to 16.